Hello, you fine folks. This is Jericho again. Welcome back to Baldur's Gate 1. I guess without further ado, let's jump right in, and I'll get to ranting as per usual. Don't know why we're in the option menu there. I'm sure I was doing something. So, I'm gonna pause the game real quick. I mentioned last time that that off stream I was going to head to a place where I could get some pretty quick experience.
Yes.
So this is called Mutiman's Garden. I think it's maybe an unofficial name. Mutiman is this corpse on the ground. We have killed him, along with a couple of basilisks. So the reason we're here is basically that basilisks are giant sacks of XP. So if I were to, say, go into my character record screen, you could see that we've got a few more levels that we didn't have when last we played. So our main character is now 334, keeping in mind that as a triple multi-class, he splits XP. Khalid is actually almost level 5. Minsk is level 4, Jahara is level 4 in both her classes, Dynahair is level 4, and then we have Emlyn, who we have actually dual classed, which is a mechanic that I'll probably explain in a little bit, but basically she's stopped being a thief for a little while and is now just a wizard. So that's exciting. So the reason basilisks are giant sacks of XP is that they technically have 2 attacks, but they really like to use the one, and it's their petrification gaze. Their petrification gaze, you get a saving throw against it, but it is an insta-kill if it lands, and they will just spam it out like every couple of seconds at you. So they're really mean. You don't want to try to fight them normally. So we went ahead and learned protection from petrification. Oh, don't want to unlearn that. No. We bought a scroll from the dude over at High Hedge, from the wizard there, and learned it. And basically, you cast it, and for an hour, which is I think 5 or 6 in-game minutes, or 5 or 6 real-life minutes, the target is just completely immune to petrification. So that's really good, and once you do that, you just run around with a bow and shoot them, and they try to spam their petrification gaze at you, and it does nothing, and then they give enormous chunks of XP. Greater basilisks in particular are worth 7,000, which is the most XP we've gotten from anything by a factor of like 5. They're absolutely incredible. We also have picked up a friend.
Very hungry.
So this is Korax. He's a ghoul. You find him in this area, and he talks to you, and he's basically like, "Wait, no, I'm not trying to kill you. I want to help." And this is actually a nice little bit of mercy on the game developer's part, because he's immune to petrification. So you can sort of have him charge ahead of your party and fight basilisks for you. Unfortunately, he is a ghoul, so he wants to eat us. And eventually that's going to overpower him, and he will turn hostile. So we can't have him forever. He also can't leave the area with us. There are not many basilisks left in the area, but there should be 1 or 2. Yeah, there's one. Now, I only memorized 2 protection from petrification spells, and I used them both, so we're just going to make real sure that Korax here paralyzes the basilisk before we get too close to it. Which he did quite handily, and you can see, even though that was just a lesser basilisk, it gave, 1,400 XP, which is a lot for this game. Shouldn't be much else in this place. I think there's some gnolls or something. Don't really care. Gnolls are not worth any appreciable amount of XP. Oh, some bears. Okay, I mean, I usually don't bother bears. Bears in this game, most of them, will be non-hostile until you get close to them, and then they will go hostile. And they're not that hard. They're slow, so they're easy to kite, though they do have pretty good stats. But they're just not really, I don't know, it feels kind of mean to bully them. We'll hit the level cap without the few hundred XP we get from some bears. Let's see. There's not a whole lot else to say here. Oh, oops, we have accidentally aggroed a bear. I don't know how that happened. It's beating up on poor Korax, actually pretty hard. Wow. Korax took a lot of damage there. Which is fine. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to do in this area. If I can get out of here without having to kill Korax, that's probably for the best. He doesn't really deserve it. He's a good dog, as he says. Not that he's a dog, but I don't know. He's a weirdo. A nice weirdo. We like him, but yeah, I do wish he would stop saying we look tasty. That's a little, unnerving. Let's see. We are going to go over here. There shouldn't be any more basilisks in this area, I don't believe, so we're just going to leave Korax behind. And hopefully find... There's actually a party member here, yeah, Chartiel. We're not going to recruit her, but I do like her. She's cool. And just for fun... Oh, Korax, go away. Go away, please. Yeah, let's have Khalid do it. That should be fine.
Hold, travelers! I challenge your best warrior to a duel.
She doesn't... Chartiel here doesn't fight women. She totally will when she's in our party, or if she was in our party, but apparently she tries not to make a habit of it. That's not like chivalry or anything weird like that. She just really doesn't like men. She's also, along with Jahara, I believe they're the only two female warriors in this game. There's definitely sort of a bit of a gender trend here. Most of the warriors are male, most of the thieves are female. What can I say? It was the 90s. People had opinions. But Chartiel, let's say she really does not like men, which is why she would like to fight them. This does create a weird situation, though, where you can actually only get her in your party if you have at least one male party member, which is just a bit odd. I'm not sure the writers fully thought this through. She's an interesting character, though. She's related to one of the major antagonists, etc., etc. And if I was related to that particular antagonist, I probably wouldn't like men either. Sure. What are the rules and reward for winning? I win, you give me 20. I win, you give me 20 gold. In the unlikely event that one of you bests me, I'll pledge my sword to your cause. Sure, okay. Will your champion step forward? I only fight men, so your women will have to be satisfied with just watching. Don't entertain any thoughts about cheating. If any of the rest of you try to interfere in this fight, I'll kill them outright.
You have need of me?
So yeah, we're gonna have Khalid do it, and she's like level 1, so Khalid is like level 5. She did actually, I think, get a hit in, which is actually pretty impressive. Or no, she didn't. I'm wrong. So yeah, I can't believe this. I'm beaten by a man, no less. I guess I must keep my word. I pledge my sword to your cause, however stupid it may be. Good. You better prove your worth. Of course I'll prove my worth. It won't be too hard in this group. But we're going to do the trick where we just immediately remove her from the party and she'll just stand around here. We could recruit her later if we wanted to. We also seem to have gotten fully healed, or mostly healed? That's interesting. Damn it. You lose one well-fought duel to an Ophis lad of a man and you get attached. I almost hate to say it, but you've earned my respect. Yeah, okay, in the 4 seconds you were sort of a party member. She's fun, though. She's actually one of the best frontline fighters in the entire game. basically because she has a high strength score and a high dex score. Her constitution is terrible, but that doesn't really matter that much in this game. So now that we've leveled up nicely, when last we left off, we were hunting bandits. You can see the bandit camp is on our map, but it's listed as destination unreachable. Basically, we don't actually know where the camp is. It's maybe a little ambitious that we put it on our map. So we can't go here yet. But we do know that there's a couple of wilderness areas where the bandits are attacking people particularly heavily. And if we go to one of those, we should be able to find some bandits and track them back to their camp. The Larswood, right just north of us, is one of those areas, so we're going to go there. Okay. So, this area, I don't actually remember that well. There's a lot of wilderness areas in this game, and while I do have memories of a lot of them, that does not mean that I can remember which one is which. So, we will see if this is the one I think it is, or if it's a different one. But we're looking for some bandits, and there should actually be a type of bandit that we have not encountered before. Or at least have not encountered much. No, I don't think we've encountered them at all. There's sort of the generic bandits. Oh, hello. Well, this guy's actually quite what we're looking for. Drop your weapons, and mayhaps you'll outlive the day. I'll never be saying it twice. So this is actually interesting. We could, like, lie to him and say we want to join his group, and there's actually sort of a whole thing if we do that. I actually think that's maybe the more interesting route. So maybe let's go ahead and do that. Well, we'll not fight you. In fact, we want to join your group. Ha! We've plenty of mules now. What for we be needing you? Let's see. Bloodthirsty job you have. No future in anything else. Kazakh can ill afford to turn down any offer of help. I feel like that's going to let on that we know too much. You're too good at your job. We can see which way the wind is blowing. Whatever you're doing, you want in. It's the only real profit on the Sword Coast today. Save your sweet talk for the boss. We'll take you to meet him, but if he says you die, then you die. No chance to surrender then. Okay, so we've actually now talked our way to the bandit camp. He's just going to take us there. No fighting required. I believe if you kill him, it just gets added to your map, and you can find your way there anyway. But the reason I did this is that this way we get to meet Tazok. Blast it all, Teven. What are you doing bringing prisoners here? We've not the space to hold them, nor the men to watch them. There's a bit more than just mouthy. They're interested like they'd be knowing something about what's going on. I just figured Tazok would want to know where they got their info. That would be bloody important, wouldn't it? Alright then. We'll put them in that cave at the back of camp. But I don't want to hear a peep from them until Tazok gets here, understood? Prisoners were never a part of the deal. Risky liabilities they are. What do you mean, prisoners? No one's supposed to know of camp. No one. I know, Tazok. We just thought you might want to question them. They seem to know something about what is going on. All the more reason to kill. He'll have my skull for this. Kill them now. Better still, I'll do it myself. I trust not you fools. So, Tazok, you may remember, is the same guy who sent some threatening letters to Molohe, the guy in the mines. And he's, this big, sort of half-ogre guy. But it sounds like he's working for someone else. And now Tazok has gone hostile to us, which is not, the best. Tazok is actually He's pretty powerful. We can probably take him. I'm pretty sure we can take him. We'll see what happens. You can see he did hit Jahara pretty hard right there, so we want to be a little careful. You fight pretty good. Maybe you're not such weaklings. I think you make pretty good bandits. Okay, you have run of camp. Have business to do, but Ardenor and Torgaz will keep eyes on you. I take a patrol and leave for mine tonight. Keep pressure on trade routes, and there'll be extra gold for all when we are done. I leave soon. So, we are now in the bandit camp, and they're not hostile to us. I like these chill hobgoblin. It's actually a hobgoblin who is a member of the chill mercenary group, not like a hobgoblin who is, you know, super chill. But, you know, either way, right? It doesn't seem to have anything to say to us. So, this is always sort of an interesting way to get into the camp because, well, because we don't really have to fight it the way we normally would. That doesn't mean that we're going to be able to get through the whole camp without fighting. In fact, we're still probably going to kill everyone here, with like one exception. But, you know, it's still. We can sort of take our time, choose our angles. The whole camp isn't necessarily going to come at us at once. You know. Also, it seems my party is extremely tired at the moment, so that's not ideal.
I'm getting a little sleepy.
So we're just going to go around and loot all these various containers because some of them have some valuable stuff in them. Most of them just have a little bit of money or something, but you know, that one had a couple of healing potions. As a rule, we like healing potions. They're very helpful to have.
Hello. All right, all right.
I don't necessarily, I mean, with the whole party fatigued, I should probably rest, I don't know, before trying this. I have a tendency to not rest in this game when I really should. I don't know if you noticed that on the stream, that it took me like 5 or 6 or more tries to beat those, that one hostile party just because I wasn't resting.
All right.
But you know, it's what it is. There's some gnolls in here. That's interesting. We've seen a few of those before, haven't we?
What is it? Very well.
And yeah, so we can see the bandit camp sort of takes all kinds, right? Like, Tazlok himself is a half-ogre, or maybe a full ogre. I actually don't remember what his official lore is. Oh, we seem to have upset these gnolls. That's less than ideal, but I think it'll be fine.
Yep,
Oh dear. I do not like this one moving down to attack my squishy mages. Now, fortunately, Dynahair, unlike a lot of the squishy mages in this game, is squishy primarily. She has a good Constitution score. Constitution does matter on wizards because they don't really have a good enough dexterity. Sorry, they don't really have good enough armor, at least at this point in the game, to really capitalize on armor class. So dexterity ends up having a much, Constitution has a much bigger impact on their overall survivability by determining how many hits they can take, because if things are attacking them, they're just going to take hits, and there's not much we can do to stop that. Whereas with a fighter, you know, ideally you build them to have a really good armor class, like Khalid has -3, which is pretty good. And then, you know, once they have that kind of armor class, you sort of don't need to, you sort of just don't need to worry that much about their hit points, because they're not going to be taking very much damage.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, no one in here heard the fighting inside. That's convenient for us. This is Tursus, who I believe is the leader of the Hobgoblin Chill group. Hello, I'm Tursus. Are you the new recruits? Yeah, that's us. Good. I'm supposed to give each of you some leather armor. We already have all the armor we need, thanks. Don't blame me, it's just a job, okay? The boss says everyone leather armor, says give everyone leather armor, and that's what I do. Black Talons, Chill, it's all the same, right? Black Talons? Chill? Who are they? You're not with Black Talons or Chill? You must be Independents then. Black Talons, Chill, all the same, right? But Independents, nobody said nothing about Independents. Better give me all that leather armor back. Black Talons and Chill, we be two groups of bandits. Me Chill. Black Talons don't take no hobgoblins. Why would two groups of bandits be working together like this? Because the boss says, okay? Like, don't blame me already. Jeez, you Independents are a lot of trouble. Okay.
What is it?
Okay.
Fine.
Interesting. Yeah, so it's a bunch of bandits working together, apparently, in this camp. I guess we've seen a little bit of that. Maybe we can sort of observe that much. Yeah, and once again, these guys have turned, this one guy has turned hostile when we opened this chest in the back of the tent hut thing.
Indeed.
But he's dead now, so we don't really care that much. Okay, so this is a fun thing. So when you look at this potion, it says Oil of Speed. We have one of those. Emmeline has an Oil of Speed, or actually we just moved it out of her inventory, but I think it's just in our potion bag. Yeah, Oil of Speed. But you can see, even though it has the same description, this one looks different.
Oh, hello.
Right? So this has this weird sort of almost rainbowy bottle. In this game, that means that the potion, basically a potion that's sort of off-model, is dangerous and will...
Whatever they need.
Oh, that's not good. It will poison you if you drink it. So we're not gonna drink it.
Good as done.
It's just, you know, how that's gonna go. Oh, okay. You know what? I did not expect all these guys to be hostile when we walked out of the building. So, let's throw down a sleep spell.
At your service.
As per usual, sleep spells are very strong.
Oh, hello.
That's just sort of how this game works. I wonder if I have aggroed the entire camp now. It's not the end of the world. Well, they're not all charging at me, but I may have... it's possible that the whole camp is now hostile. And I should really have my wizards attacking the unconscious ones, because they automatically hit the unconscious ones. And the wizards are not good at hitting things, so we might as well have them not have to.
Whatever they need.
What is it?
Oh yeah, so Emmeline leveled up. So this is as good a time as any to talk a little more about dual classing. So, in modern versions of D&D, when you go up a level, you can just sort of multi-class by taking a level in a different class. That's not how it worked back in 2nd edition. In 2nd edition, the way it works is that if I want to take... if I want to multi-class, I can do it. There are basically two ways to do it. There's true multi-classing, like what our main character here has done and what Jahara has done, where you just, from the beginning of the game, when you make your character, you just pick 2 or 3 classes. Only some combinations are allowed. You can't just pick any 2 classes, but you pick some combination of 2 or 3 classes, and you just are both or all of those classes, and you level up. Your experience gets split between them, and you level up, and like you can level up concurrently in each of them as completely separate tracks. But like you don't get as many hit points. So like with two classes, the hit points you gain from each class are halved. They're cut into a third if you've got three classes. And like anything like skills or the like that both classes would give you, you just sort of take the best value from either class rather than adding them together. And then there's dual classing. Dual classing, by default, now I have mods that change this, but by default, non-humans can multi-class, but humans can't. Humans can dual class, and no one else can. Dual classing is basically, once you get to at least level 2 in your main class, you start off as a single class character, you get to at least level 2 in that class, and you need to have a 17 or higher in like the most important or the main ability score for the class you want to dual class to. And then you just dual class. And then you stop going up levels in your original class forever. You will never become better at your original class. And you start over as a level 1 version of your new class. You keep your old hit points, but nothing else. Everything else is reset to level 1. And you lose all of your abilities from your old class until your new class is higher level than your old class, at which point you get them all back. That's all very strange, but because the XP chart is quite exponential, the 10,000 XP that Emmeline spent to get to level 5 in Thief is eventually going to be like nothing compared to the amount of XP that she needs as a mage. So she'll basically just be a single class mage who also has the ability of a 5th level Thief. And this is so good that this is actually like the canonical way to play Emmeline. She's just like, Baldur's Gate 2 just assumes that you dual classed her. Everyone did this back in the day. And since our main character is a thief, we're definitely going to do it. It is funny though, because we dual classed her like right at the beginning of Mutimin's Garden, and because that place is worth so much XP, she's now actually a 3rd level wizard, even though she's never actually cast a single spell. She just, we have not rested since she dual classed. And in fact, we don't even seem to have any 3rd level spell scrolls to give her. Or 2nd level spell scrolls to give her. So even though she has a 2nd level spell slot now, she doesn't know any. So that's a little inconvenient, but it'll be fine. Emmeline will be sort of one of our main mages as we go through this. Since our main character is a thief, we don't really need her as a thief. But also she can actually just be a perfectly fine thief because of her, once she regains her thief skills back.
At your service.
Obviously that's going to be a little bit, right? She's only 3rd level in mage. She's got to hit 6th level in mage, which is higher level than Dinaher is. But,
Of course.
it'll happen. Don't you worry. Yeah, so we do seem to have turned the entire camp hostile. It's a little unfortunate, you know. I thought after no one cared about the gnolls that maybe no one would care about the hobgoblins, but you know what? That's okay. I'm not really all that concerned. I am actually just going to lure these guys back because I don't really want to aggro. Did that cast at range? That's weird. I don't really want to aggro like a ton of enemies at once. Oh wow. These guys are rolling really well and it's doing a lot of damage to us. It might be because we're fatigued. I don't actually know if that improves their attack rolls. I know it makes ours worse. Okay, this is the guy that I was worried about aggroing, so that's fun. But at least we're not aggroing him and a bunch of his friends. Can we do anything to this man that matters? We don't really have a lot of good. I guess we can drop a bless, maybe.
Yes.
I'm just checking to see if we have anything that I want to do here. Let's go ahead and reload my bow before I run out of arrows.
Go for the eyes, Boo. Go for the eyes.
I guess I'll magic missile him. It's not really important, but it's also not really a valuable resource that we're spending. I really would rather not have Khalid be the one trying to tank this man.
You've attacked
since he is my squishiest, or rather not have Minx trying to gank this man, rather, since he is sort of my squishiest frontliner. He's the worst armor class, at least. Though, as we're seeing, this guy does not seem to have that much trouble hitting us. Yeah, it's on a 15, which is not my favorite. So we might have a bit of a time. I don't really have my favorite tools, any of my favorite tools for dealing with this guy, but we are reasonably high level, so we can probably just brute force it with some healing potions or something.
Less squeaky wheel gets the kick.
We do deal a lot of damage, even if, you know, this guy is pretty tough. When he's alone, at the end of the day, he's one dude and we can kill him. And the reason that he is important is that he drops full plate. Full plate is just very expensive. There aren't that many suits of it in the game. And it's the best armor. Because unlike in later versions of D&D, you can just use your full dexterity in full plate. So we're going to do that. I'm actually going to give this to... Who am I going to give this to? I think I'm going to give it to Minx, because he has the strength score to not be incredibly encumbered. Ankeg plate is basically full plate. It's actually just slightly worse, but it's essentially full plate. But it weighs like a third as much or something. Full plate is, 70 pounds. Khalid and Jahara are both just barely strong enough to wear full plate. Full plate is a minimum strength of 15. But they are not... it still, does a number on their piddly 120-pound weight limits. So... we're going to give that to Minsk instead. So that hurt, right? That was a pretty nasty encounter. So let's heal up a little bit before we continue.
Whatever they need.
And I think our main character is out of healing. Okay. I think I just picked up something I didn't want to pick up. Yes, okay. Just shuffle some inventory around. Our gem bag is full. That's inconvenient. Okay. Containers are very useful for inventory management, but they aren't infinite. They can only hold so much stuff, and we have dumped a fair bit into Emmeline's one little gem bag here. So
Yep.
that is unfortunate. Not the end of the world. We'll just need to carry stuff a little more manually. I'm going to check out this cave. Find a whole bunch of gnolls. I picked up... bother.
As directed.
Picked up a wand of sleep. So once this guy is done talking, even though we're out of sleep spells prepared, we're just going to blast this group with a wand. And it should knock out most of them. You come to mock Garalax. Garalax's clan been in cave long enough. Let us out now or die. Why are you in here anyway? We in here because of trouble we caused in camp. Big brawl 2 nights back. You should know that. Unless you not Black Talon. You not smell right. You die! I am very worried for Dynahair, but it's fine. Because only one gnoll survived that. Or not survived, but only one gnoll did not fall asleep. Sleep spells are extremely strong, whether from wands or from just casting them normally. And this is why. There is another gnoll there, though he, now that we're not weirdly splayed out at the beginning of the cave, we can just fight him normally, and I mean, he's a gnoll, I'm not that worried. Gnolls getting in our squishies is bad, but gnolls fighting our front line is pretty underwhelming at this point in the game. We did find some more gems that are going to clog up our inventory. We also found a couple of scrolls, which we don't need. Yeah, nothing really of value. the scrolls will sell, you know, decently well, but that's about it. They're not worth like a ton of money or anything, but they're, you know, they're worth enough to be worth picking up. I think first level spell scrolls are worth something in the ballpark of like 50 gold. Certainly could be worse. Yes, 2 magical arrows, 2 entire magical arrows. Now, to be fair, both of these types of magical arrows are pretty good. But I don't really want to waste an identify spell on 1 arrow when I could spend the same amount to identify a whole stack of arrows. Potions of perception are very good. Those are used for, well, for a bunch of things. I'm actually just gonna do this. So that was, I chucked a potion of fire, or oil of fiery burning, which is basically a fantasy grenade.
What is it?
Explodes in a fireball. Not an especially powerful fireball, but the truth of the matter is those potions are, they're fun, but they're not going to be that good for that long. So we might as well use them, use some of them now. I try not to have too good to use syndrome with this game. I don't want to, you know, sit on my potions. There's some extremely strong consumables in this game, especially potions and wands. And
Is grass not made of blades? The stars not shoot? Nature be well armed and demand so of her servants.
Please, Jahira, you needn't be so... Oh,
Insufferable?
yes, that's definitely it.
oh, wonderful. So I try not to just, you know, do the thing where you sit on your consumable items until the final boss and you realize that you don't need them and they're not that useful anymore. What does help with that is that I have played this game enough times to have some idea of how useful things are going to be. Those 2 oils of fiery burning that I just used up, they're good items, but the fact of the matter is that we're going to get a wand of fire before too long. And a wand of fire is way better than oil of fiery burning. And oh look, a web spell. Web is a very good spell. I actually used it between sessions on Dynahair. She already has it, though, so we're not bothering to give it to her. And then Fireball. Fireball is not really my favorite spell of that tier. It does, I mean, it's good, right? It's just that there's another spell called Skull Trap that's basically better. That said, for Dynahair, Fireball might be better, because Skull Trap is a necromancy spell, and she's an evocation wizard, so her evocation spells are a little better, and her other spells are a little worse. It's not really a big deal either way, frankly. Now, one thing that's a little unfortunate about this whole thing is that we do not have... Actually, we've got a pretty decent amount of magic arrows, but we haven't found a lot of Black Talon elites, which are the black... Yeah, I mean, they're the Black Talon bandits, and...
Of course.
They are like the best enemies in the game at dropping magic arrows, and they also go down very easily to sleep spells. They're like the strongest enemy that goes down to sleep spells. Normally you find them when you are running in, when you're searching for the bandits, but since we just kind of talked our way in and ran into the guy to talk our way in very early, we didn't really end up fighting any of them, which means we didn't get their loot. We might come back for that. I actually don't remember if they stopped spawning. Oh, Wand of Fear. That's really nice. That's something that I've been missing. I don't know who all can use that in this party, but ultimately the answer is me, and that's sufficient. I think Wands of Fear are typically usable by priests and mages. So I believe it should be basically everyone but Khalid, and Minsk probably can't use it. I actually don't remember if Rangers can use Wands of Fear, but Minx probably doesn't have a high enough intelligence score anyway. Even if his class can. There are some stat requirements for these, like you can see this Wand of Magic Missiles requires a 9 intelligence. I believe it can otherwise be used by, yeah, pretty much anyone except the Wizard Slayer kit. So long as you have a 9 intelligence. But yeah, this is that's a Wand of Fear. We just can't identify it yet. That's a very good wand. The Fear effect is a very good crowd control effect, and crowd control is very, very strong in this game. So that's just, you know, we're going to be making pretty heavy use of that eventually. We continue to not really have a lot of, we continue to not really, oh hey, cool. We were able to identify that thing. It's just a +1 short sword, not that important. We have more +1 short swords. Or we have another +1 short sword in M1's inventory. She can't use it at the moment because she's a wizard, but once she hits level 6 in wizard, she'll regain her thief abilities and be able to use it again. A little odd. Okay, we are going to try and see if we can pull this off without resting, but if we have to rest, then we have to rest.
Sorry, friend, but you've got a date down under.
I don't care who you are. No one's to enter Tazak's tent under penalty of death. We're here under his own instructions. He requested that we retrieve his files and documents and deliver them to him as soon as possible. Your petty lies are wasted on me and Vale. Like Ender Sai here, you've crossed the Iron Throne for the last time. So they all turn hostile, and then we're going to leave the room, and they're going to sort of filter out at us.
Go for the eyes, boo. Go for the eyes.
So that's the good news. Now, exactly how quickly they will filter out of us, we'll see. And exactly how useful that will be, we'll see. Okay, good start.
If you insist.
I'm very happy with that.
As directed.
If none are better.
Very happy with pulling one of them out. Fighting these guys, you know, straight up is pretty rough. That wizard was just trying to cast horror on us, but we swapped over an area map, so he's going to lose that spell. That is sort of a way you can cheese wizards if they're near these little sort of mini area transitions. Oh, we got a priority target. He did, however, decide to chase us out this time, so we need to make sure we start. Oh, okay. So that time, I thought we'd hit him in the middle of spellcasting, but apparently we didn't, or something? Sometimes enemies just cast through it. They're not supposed to, but oh, that's not good. Minsky's in a kind of bad shape. I'm going to try to run him away and hope that that makes a difference. This guy seems to have a very good armor class for a wizard. Okay, we're going to need to give Minsk another healing potion. I hope he's not too far away. Characters can only transfer items within a certain distance of each other. Though you can sort of hop items between party members, as I did right there. Okay. So that was good. Okay, Minsk is going to make it, but only just. So that spell that that guy was hitting Minsk with is Acid Arrow, Melf's Acid Arrow, which is like a damage over time effect. And so, you know, I was a little worried Minsk was going to die to it. But
My dear, 'twould take a sailor to untie that tongue.
he survived. He managed to survive. And once again, we have more Khalid and Jahara flirting or something? Unclear. I mean, they're married, so they can flirt all they want, but, like, I don't really understand their dynamic.
Please, Jahira, you needn't be so... Oh,
Insufferable?
yes, that's definitely it.
You cold?
Yeah, so Jahara is just sort of generally sarcastic to Khalid, and, yeah. I don't know, I mean, they seem to genuinely, like, care about each other, so I'm not really gonna, you know, judge or anything. But, okay, so this is a Nadrib of fire resistance that this guy dropped. the 20% fire resistance here is probably way more useful than what this adventuring robe is giving us, +1 to a very specific, couple of very specific things. We'll go ahead and pass that mage robe to Emmeline. In theory, I think the this type of robe is like more valuable than the robes of elemental resistance, but in practice, the robes of elemental resistance I think are the stronger item, though neither item is all that strong. And we got some more scrolls. Most of them not all that interesting. I guess we'll teach Emmeline blindness, and I guess I'll take friends. I'm probably literally never going to cast that spell, but you know. Now spell thrust is interesting. Spell thrust removes certain defenses against other spells from the target. That's not really that important in this game. That sort of thing is pretty important in Baldur's Gate 2. But in Baldur's Gate 1, it's not. That's not really a thing that comes up very often.
Or fight.
Also, Khalid leveled up. We'll go ahead and level him up. Doesn't really get anything super exciting. Oh wow, lots of improvements to his saving throws. That's actually very good. But otherwise, not a whole lot happening.
All right.
Now, I
Your service.
think there's one more dude in here. Yes, okay. I am going to go ahead and just leave Minsk in the back there. Oh,
Hello.
right. Since our main character went first, of course, he's being targeted, which isn't good because his armor class is pretty bad, unless he uses the the shield amulet, in which case it becomes pretty good, actually.
You're a queer fellow.
So we took a hit there we probably didn't need to hit because I should have moved forward with Khalid instead. Oh well. Ah, yes, and we have that random hobgoblin archer dude drops this longbow, which is a very powerful magic item. Again, we can't identify it at the moment, but that is a longbow of marksmanship, which along with this composite longbow +1, like those are pretty much the two best longbows in the game.
You cold?
We don't really need another good longbow, but you know, it's what it is. For some parties, that would be a godsend because that longbow has a much lower strength requirement than the one I'm currently using. However, our archer has an 18 strength, so we don't really care that much. Okay, let's talk to this Endar Sai person.
Troubled times are upon us.
It's time then, is it? Time for what? Explain yourself. My execution, what do you think? You're not with him, are you, though? No, I'd smell his rancid breath on you if you were. You're right, we're not Tazok's lackeys. What's going on here? Aye, you're not. Well, this whole place is dirty to the core, that's what's going on. These aren't your ordinary bandits. They're part of Black Talon and they're part Black Talon and part Chill. Chill being a demi-human band, mostly hobgoblins, led by that creepy smart one, Ardenor Crush. There'd be others elsewhere, like that priest Milahay, sent to poison the minds of Noshkel. Set himself as up as a kobold god, returned, and legions of the brainless barking fools believed him, ready to do his bidding till death do they part. Milahay's dead. He was working for Tazok, I understand. The question is, who's Tazok working for? Well, that's the trick, see? Crush and Targaz Kosan, leader of the Black Talons, both think he's getting orders from the Gents, and Tazok doesn't do much to discourage that particular line of thinking. But the Black Talons and Chill are bandit groups, see? They ply the trade routes, avoid the cities, and that's where they go wrong. I'm from the Gate, and I can tell you dead as leather that the Gentarim aren't behind this. How can you be so sure? A desire for silence isn't the only reason I wear soft-soled boots. I wear them so I can tell whose toes I'm treading on. I don't mess with no Gentarim. I picked my enemies and I messed with one group and one group only. The Iron Throne. And right as rain, here I am as Tazok's personal prisoner. You do the math. The Iron Throne? Where can I find them? Tazok's been making regular visits to the Cloakwood, so that's where I'd start if I were you. There are some documents in that chest that might be worth taking a look at, too. Now go step on some toes, all right? You can tell him Endar Sai sent you. So, there's this mysterious organization called the Iron Throne. We don't really know much about at this point, but Endar Sai seems to think they're behind this. You can see some symbols of the various bandit groups on the walls here. A potion of magic blocking. I think we already have one of those, but we're gonna make good use of one of them. Yeah, we have 2 of them. I'm not sure if we'll ever remember to use the other one. Getting entirely too many bandit scalps. And yeah, okay, we got a bunch of good stuff in here. A bunch of money, some scrolls, some unidentified magic gauntlets, which between you and me are very good. Actually, let me take those first. And we have some letters.
Have proven to be nothing more than puppets. The true master of this unfolding mystery continues to elude you. One thing is certain. Someone has taken a very personal interest in seeking your death. Though why, you are not sure. Your search for answers continues, and the foreboding Cloakwood Forest is your next target.
Yeah. All right. What the narrator said. So we've got a couple of letters. Tazok, I hope that everything moves along smoothly. I have written to give you instructions from our superiors. I have been told that a small band of mercenaries might cause the Iron Throne some trouble in the future. You are to ensure that they don't live to upset our operations. Obtain the services of the assassin Nimble. He should serve you well. Davorn. Now, Nimble was the guy who attacked us in Nashkel after we got through the mines, so that's interesting. And then, Tazok, I have noticed that your shipments of iron have slowed of late. It is imperative that we receive another ton of ore. Step up your raids and get a shipment to our base in Cloakwood within the next week. We need to stockpile as much ore as possible before our ultimatum is given. Also, Saravak wants to know what has happened with the band of mercenaries. Have they been killed? You had better ensure they have been, as Saravak will not take kindly to any other news. Davorn. So, another name. Saravak. Sounds like whoever this Davorn is works for him. Now, I understand, I have been told that that some of you might be familiar with him for other reasons. This is the game where he makes his debut. And he's a fun character. I like Saravak a lot. So, we've got a few spells here. We've got Agonizar's Scorcher, garbage spell, really good when you cast it from a wand. Never cast it yourself, though. We also have Horror, which is just actually quite good. We're going to teach that to Emmeline. And then we have Stinking Cloud, which is mediocre. It's mostly just a worse version of Web, which basically a big AoE that tries to crowd control people standing in it periodically. There's a few spells of that sort. Web is probably the strongest of them. Though you could make an argument for Grease. Grease is a much weaker crowd control effect, but it lasts a lot longer, which is, you know, a power all its own. So we're going to go ahead and rest because look at our health totals. I'm kind of amazed that that went well, honestly. I thought it was pretty likely that we would end up being ambushed, but we didn't. It did not happen. Unfortunately, we don't have that much healing. We still have potions, and we're getting to the point where affording more potions is pretty easy. we're not like fabulously wealthy, but we've got a lot of magic items to identify, and we'll be able to sell a lot of those. Okay, so now that we have taken down the bandit camp, I mean, that's actually pretty cool, right? Like, we've already, this wasn't even really a dungeon exactly, like, we've already just killed the people responsible, or at least sort of the people on the ground responsible for the bandit attacks up and down the Sword Coast. They're not like, it's not like we've gone and killed the masterminds. We're still hunting them down. Even Tazok, you know, we clashed with him briefly, but he wasn't in the camp. Even when we went into his tent, it just had a bunch of his lieutenants. So that's interesting. I'm sure we'll never see him again. We will actually see him again much, much later. He actually shows up briefly in Baldur's Gate 2, which is a little odd, frankly.
Indeed.
Don't really want to go to Peldvale. I mean, I eventually do, but not really yet. I'm just trying to unlock it. We're actually going to go back to the Friendly Arm, because if you may remember, we took a quest there way back in the first stream to kill some spiders and retrieve some boots and stuff. And, well, we've done that, so we should probably turn that quest in. It's also just a pretty good place to identify stuff and sell stuff. So we'll be doing that. Probably makes more sense to identify that there. Now that we've rested, we have a couple identify spells prepared. It probably makes more sense to just pay the 100 gold. We've got almost 10,000. We can save those spells for items that we will get later. So, I'm going to travel back to the Friendly Arm. Oh. Immediately run into an ordinary hobgoblin, or two. Okay, sure. I mean, if you guys are very competent, like you guys weren't that hard when we were level 1, and we're not level 1 anymore, but, you know, whatever.
Whatever they need.
You cold? Of course.
So, we're just going to make our way to the Temple of Wisdom in this little keep inn. Friendly Arm is pretty cool. I wish that I had the whole map revealed so that you could see, like, this big fortress that the inn is, well, sort of the keep at the heart of this fortress, because it does look pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's basically a castle that someone has turned into an inn, which is, you know, kind of neat. Whoops. Let's get back. Okay. Not too much to say while we're walking, I'm afraid. But I think once we're done here, I will probably go north a bit. We know where we need to go into the Cloakwood, which if we go into our world map is over here. Probably going to go up here first. Oh, and hey, it's Elminster again, Mr. Redrobe himself. Well met, young one. I trust that thou art well. I have heard many things about thee in the past few 10 days, and I am most impressed. Are you following me, old man? Only through tales and stories, I assure thee. Thou art the subject of thou art the subject around many tables lately, and I am quite sure that the majority of rumors are more or less true. Much is as I would have done, though the methods may have differed. No doubt the clues unearthed so far have pointed thee in the same direction I would have concluded as well. Thou dost possess a gifted nature, and I am sure that thou wilt make good use of it.
Of course they have. But out of curiosity, where would you go next? As thou hast no doubt determined, the clues seem to point towards the Cloakwood Forest. 'Tis likely that the scoundrels behind the bandits have some sort of base within the wood. Of course, I am only telling thee things that thou dost already know. Good luck on thy travels, young one. Be wary as well, for thou art making powerful enemies both here and within thyself. I am sorry I cannot speak more plainly on this matter, but events must unfold as they will, without any meddling from this old man. Well, that was cryptic. Basically, Elminster is in this game to do two things. Drop cryptic hints and, remind us where the plot has told us to go. He doesn't really give us new direction, but he does sort of rehash old direction, which can be valuable if we, are forgetful or, say, didn't read the thing or, whatever. Didn't read the dialogue before. I'm not spending 100 gold to identify one arrow. I don't actually remember if that's a whole stack of arrows or not. Okay, so quick 1,000 gold, which sounds like, oh my god, that's 10% of our money. It won't be for long. So, no, that's 10 arrows. Oh man. So, what do we have? We have a couple of +1 longswords. We don't need those. We've got 2 longsword wielders. Our main character has this Harrower +1, which is a +1 longsword that's +3 versus undead. It's okay. Khalid has Varskona, which is +2 and does an extra point of cold damage. Pretty good, honestly. So we don't really need a bunch of generic +1 longswords. Same with this Morning Star. This Golden Girdle is pretty good. Bonus armor class versus slashing attacks. Certainly never hurt anyone. These +1 medium shields are actually very nice. They're definitely better than large shields, so we're going to just... I don't know, I guess we might as well sell the large shields. They're not worth very much. But I'm going to give those to Khalid and Jahara because, well, our main character could use one. He's usually an archer, so I'd rather have it on them. The Dead Shot +2, the Longbow of Marksmanship, +3 to hit, +2 to damage. Our Longbow is +2 to hit, +3 to damage. This one requires a 6 strength instead of an 18 strength, so that's quite nice, but we have an 18 strength, so it's not that important. We'll give it to someone. I think we'll give it to Khalid, because, it doesn't hurt for Khalid to have a better bow. Even if he doesn't use it much. +1 Warhammer we won't need. Wand of Fear, I talked about that. Yeah, okay. So, alright, Rangers can't use the Wand of Fear anyway, but yeah, so Jahara can use this, so I'm going to give it to her. It's just, she can't use most wands, but she can use Wands of Fear. Oh yes, and Legacy of the Masters, the Gauntlets of Weapon Expertise. +1 to hit, +2 to damage, with any weapon you wield. That's just really good compared to our +2 to hit with missile weapons. I think I am... Normally I'd put this on our main character, but I actually think for the moment I'm going to give this to Khalid so that he does a little more damage. I would really like to... eventually I think the plan is probably to transfer these to Emmeline, but right now she can't use them. Once she regains her thief ability, she will be able to.
Yes.
And then I'll take the Gauntlets of Weapon Expertise for myself. They are very good on archers. The Bracers of Archery. I just want to make sure that someone is using the Bracers of Archery, because they're also quite good.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
So we just bought a bunch, or we just identified a bunch of stuff at the temple. So now let's go up here and talk to the proprietor, sell some stuff.
My inn is open to all who behave themselves.
Yeah, he's got this buckler that gives +1 constitution. It's not that good. The gender swap girdle. Let's see, yeah. Emmeline was the only person in our party who wanted to use leather armor, and now that she's a mage, she's not going to want to because that'll turn off her spells even once she gets her thief skills back. So we're not going to do it. We're going to sell all of this stuff. Yeah, large shields do not sell for very much, but that is okay. And casually pick up 5,000 gold in the process of doing that. We're not even done though, right? We've still got a whole bunch of gems and stuff to sell. We're not going to sell for as much as the magic items, but they'll still help. There are a few genuinely valuable gems in the game, but most of them are only worth, you know, small amounts. Pearl necklace isn't bad, fire opal ring isn't bad. I always liked the way the fire opal ring looks, just that sort of orange and silver. As a kid, on one of my sort of main characters when I played this game, I just equipped the fire opal ring in a ring slot for the whole game, even though it doesn't do anything. Doesn't, you know, show up on the model or anything like that. I just thought it was cool, and so I did it. And I mean, that's perfectly valid, though. It would have been better if I was, you know, good enough at the game to take handicaps like that, but, you know, whatever. I'm gonna sell a bunch of scrolls of spells we don't really care about. Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, so we end up about 16,000 gold. We're getting to a pretty good place.
All right.
And then, let's see. I think the person we need to talk to is one level up from this. Yeah, Landrin. Hey, Landrin, what's up?
Stout hammer will fix most any bandit.
Ah, I'm so glad I can move home again. Bentley is a kind man, but it is always best not to push favors too far. Here's 120 gold pieces for your trouble. Just take those old boots from you. If you have any of my other possessions, come talk to me again. I see you have the largest of those pesky spiders in my house. With this one dead, I'm sure the others will have run away. You're too kind to an old gnome like myself. Thank you so much. If any of my other possessions, talk to me again. And you've done everything I asked. Thank you kindly for helping me, dear. You've earned every copper. Okay. Thought I got a point of reputation for that. Oh well. Maybe you have to have a higher charisma or something to get that. Whatever. Not important. Our reputation is already 18, which is pretty good. Now, mind you, getting it to 20 is pretty important. But we'll manage that. That's not going to be a problem. Let's see. So now we're going to, instead of diving straight into the Cloakwood, we're actually going to go north a little bit to that farm that I pointed out earlier. And the reason for that is that, well, actually several reasons. We're going to run into some ankegs there, which, if you're not familiar with an ankeg, with what an ankeg is, you're about to find out. But it is the thing that this armor is made out of, and if we get an ankeg shell, we can make another suit of it, or rather, we can have a blacksmith make another suit of it. So we're going to go do that real quick.
Of course.
Journey took 4 hours. Yeah. Okay. Now, ankegs are pretty dangerous. We got a bandit. So this is a Jontis. He's another joinable party member. He's a paladin. I don't usually do anything with him. I always sort of want to, and then he never quite fits what I'm trying to do. He's one of the people who really kind of needs the Gloves of Dex to be, like, good, and that just continues to be kind of a problem. I should have... Well, you know what? That's okay. So I have... My shield amulet is really low on charges. You can recharge an item by selling it to a shop and rebuying it, which is sort of expensive because you'll have to, it'll sell based on the number of charges it has, and then when you rebuy it, its cost will be based on on the full number of charges. Okay, so these are ankegs. They're very powerful. They're giant insect things. They do a lot of damage. They have two major weaknesses.
If you insist.
So the first weakness they have is that they first weakness that they have is that they are
Yes. At your
sorry. First weakness they have is that they just don't actually have that many hit points. They have a good armor class. They hit really hard, but their hit points are a little underwhelming.
indeed.
The second weakness is that they are vulnerable to sleep spells, as you saw there. And the third is that they don't actually they have a melee attack, but they often will not use their melee attack, which can give you very big bonuses to hit them if you get into melee with them. So this area is generally known as the Ankeg farm because it's a farm, as you can see, with some Ankegs on it. He's not actually farming Ankegs, but you know. So we're going to talk to this farmer Broom buddy fellow.
No one help me. Anyone? I've nowhere else to be turning.
Please, you're young and strapping, and can you lend a neighbor a hand? There's something going on at my farm, and I can't afford to hire help. I've nothing to offer you save my gratitude. Sure, you need look no further for aid. Oh, by the Great Mother, thank you. My son Nathan and his friends went looking for our missing cattle. Then they just up and disappeared. Been gone for days now, and well, with all the bandits around, who knows what's happened. I don't know where they were heading, but I saw some sort of tracks to the west. Please find Nathan. I can't afford to keep the farm without my son. So, Farmer Broom is missing his son. Oh, we do not want that guy attacking Dinah here. Okay. Cool. All good. Yeah, Ankegs are also worth almost 1,000 XP. This place is not as good an XP farm as Munimin's Garden, but it requires a little less preparation, and it's still very good experience. And you can see there's a little dungeon here, the Ankeg's Nest. Now, no points for guessing that when we go into the Ankeg's Nest, we're going to fight some Ankegs, okay? This one, Ankegs can sort of burrow in and out of the ground, as you can see, and this one sure seems to not be sure what it can do. They can only move by burrowing, interestingly, in this game. It's just sort of an animation thing. And that is, well, it's a little awkward sometimes. I think that guy was sort of trying to move up to us, but just didn't quite have the angle. By the way, we're not taking every Ankeg shell because they weigh 100 pounds each. We only need one to turn it into a suit of armor. We could sell others for like a few hundred gold. I think it's like 500 or something. It's not particularly worth it. They're so heavy. You really want good strength scores when you come into this place, in part because you want to leave with at least one Ankeg shell so that you can turn it into a suit of armor, and in part because of something very unfortunate. So this is a treasure hoard that the Ankegs have for some reason. It has some magic items. This is a wand of fire. That's very good. We have a strangely discolored, yeah, the color seems strange somehow. It's a potion of antidote that will poison you, so that's pretty useless. Some very good buffing potions. I gotta futz with my inventory a little bit. Give me just a second. Oh, actually, Ghost Armor gets cast on other people, huh? Okay, Dinah Hair. Okay, you've convinced me. You can learn Ghost Armor. Emmeline, you can learn Dire Charm. I don't know that you'll ever cast it, but, you know. And then, let's see. Shovel some magic items down here at Dinah Hair. I'd actually be a little surprised if she couldn't. Yeah, okay, she can identify a bunch of stuff there. +1 dagger, I guess that's kind of good for Emmeline right now. And we'll go ahead and fire off an identify spell at this Wand of Fire. Both of these are so good. So Wands of Fire are kind of weird. They have two different things that they can do. If you right-click on the wand, you can switch between them, Fireball and Scorcher. And actually, these are separate charge counts, so it has 12 charges of each, but if it runs out of charges in either one, the wand will be destroyed. So you want to sort of use them evenly and not use the last charge in either one until you're ready to get rid of the wand. They're very good, though. Both of those abilities are good. The Scorcher is actually probably better than the Fireball. Wand Scorcher is just, like, way stronger than Spell Scorcher for some reason. Okay, that's a fair bit of money. And Brune's Dead Son. Description: Brune's Dead Son. So this is Nathan. This is the farmer's son who he sent us to find. That's unfortunate. Yeah.
All right.
So we found him. We sure did find him. And we're gonna have to bring the farmer the bad news. But first, let's kill all the Ankegs we can here because you know they seem to be kind of a menace at the moment. Oh, no alignment. This spell tells you the alignment of an NPC if you cast it on them.
At your service.
That's not very useful. There are not very many times when that's actually helpful. Maybe not zero. There's one quest in Baldur's Gate 2 that I think is a paladin-only quest where knowing someone, being able to figure out an NPC's alignment is useful. But paladins get a special ability called Detect Evil that tells them the relevant information. Detect Evil is actually sort of a useful ability in this game. It's not that useful, but it will at least, like, no alignment you cast on a target, Detect Evil hits a whole area, and so you can sort of use it as a radar, which is nice. It won't tell you where the enemies are exactly, but you'll see, like, see them being affected by the spell and the status pane, and you can tell, you can at least, you know, figure out who's in, you know, on the map, basically. At least if they're evil. But most enemies in this game are, in fact, evil. There are some exceptions, I believe, but, well, there are definitely some exceptions, but it's actually, you know, the vast majority are evil. I'm not sure if these Ankegs are. These Ankegs, my guess would be no, but I really have never had to have that information. I guess I could use that scroll of no alignment on one, but I really don't care that much. It's kind of incredible. I mean, so you do need more and more XP to level up as you go up levels. It's kind of incredible that we've been going through the this whole place, killing kind of a bunch of Ankegs, and we still have not leveled up a second time. Ooh. So, we see there why this place is nasty. That thing just hit Jaheira for 23 points of damage. So, you know, that's not my favorite thing. I wish that hadn't happened. Now, that's, I think, the first time we've been hit by an Ankeg. But you can sort of see why we would want to not be hit by Ankegs. They hit like trucks. Now, I can't actually shoot the child's body as an arrow. That would be weird. Okay, let's see. We did not actually end up stocking up on potions. I guess I'll give her another one. I don't really want to risk being one-shotted by an Ankeg. Okay. But yeah, you can see we're getting some XP, but we're not like, Minsk is actually very close to leveling. Yeah, Emmeline's not too far either.
At your service. fine.
Well, Emily can actually cast spells now. Since she's rested, and you know she doesn't have that many spell slots. But yeah, that actually could be useful. I'm gonna have to remember to actually cast a spell with her. Let's see. I believe there's another quest over here. We're not gonna do this one right now, but we can at least pick it up.
Keep your heads about you, and we'll work it out. We just need a little help, is all.
Damn it, Jebediah. We can't go on like this forever. There's no way we can keep quotas up when we're afraid to come near the nests. Excuse me, who are you? Can't you see I have troubles on my mind? Leave me and mine alone. Ease off a second there, Jebediah. They're rough looking, but maybe they can help us with the problem. Oh yeah, the problem. Sorry for my manner. We're a poor folk, not accustomed to trouble, and it's hard times now. We can't but get a boat into the water before she's swamped by the rains. It's that bitch of Umberly. She's the one. Steady, Telman. What he means is we're being harassed by a priest of the bitch Queen Umberly. That is her official title, by the way. We don't even know why, but whenever we attempt to fish, she turns the weather sour. 2 of us were washed away just walking to the docks, but we cannot prove to the guard it was her. We've been needing someone to strong-arm her into leaving us alone. We've not much money, but I'll gladly give you a magical weapon from my grandfather's adventuring days. It's a meager amount for your trouble, but it would be a great service to us. Will you help a group of poor fishermen? Sure. I knew we could depend on you to do what's right. She hides out near a small shack to the north. Watch your backs and act quickly. She's tricky. Good luck, brave friends. That's actually on a different map from this. That's outside the gates of the city of Baldur's Gate. So if we go to the world map, this is the city. This sort of bridge is where she is. That's kind of a neat little quest, but I don't think we're going to do it today. So, let's see. Right, we've got unfortunate Mr. Farmer Brune here. Hey, I have some terrible news.
My son.
Have you found my son? Is he well? I'm afraid Nathan is dead, sir. He died defending your farm from a nest of strange beasts. No, my only son. It is a black day. He died for this farm, but I am too old to work it and too poor to hire someone else. I've lost him and the land. At least now I know. Thank you for your help, but I wish to be alone now.
It will be hard going.
What am I to do?
Son.
Brune, we have all we need. In fact, you'd be doing us a favor if you would take this extra 100 gold off our hands. It's a burden for us to carry. Well, if it's causing you strife to hold on to it, I suppose I could hold it for you. Thank you, strangers. I don't believe I'll see the likes of you again. You can see that gave us some extra experience and reputation. Easily worth 100 gold. The reputation alone will give us shop discounts that are well in excess of that. Not that you should only be good to get mechanical bonuses, but you know, this is a video game. We can acknowledge that we are rewarded for our good behavior, okay? 2 ankegs is too many ankegs. Oh, well, they did both save. I don't like that.
I can, but try.
Yes.
All right.
And then there's someone up here who has a very silly little micro quest for us. Oh, geez. That's not good.
At your service.
Fire off the Wand of Sleep again, please. I got one of them that time, so let's take down the other.
Skull.
And then the unconscious one is pretty easy prey because they don't wake up when you hit them. I believe that's changed a couple times in the Enhanced Edition. I believe in the base game they didn't, and then in the Enhanced Edition they did, and then they didn't, and then, yeah, it's a whole mess. Occurs to me... That's right, yeah. So I've got... I do have Jaheira building into dagger, but she's not there yet. Okay, so +1 dagger is not very useful to her. She's got a +1 club anyway, so I don't know why I would really want it. Yeah, Gerda. Gerda, how you doing?
Yeah?
You've come here to fight Ankegs. Well, listen up. It's mating season, so it's primarily females coming up to the surface looking to put on a little extra weight. They're hungry, they're aggressive, and there are a lot of them. Now, the point of this exercise is not to exterminate them, but to keep their population to a manageable level. Remember, they aerate the soil and thereby improve crop yields by as much as 15%. Food is going to be scarce enough for the next few years, so keep that in mind when you're out there. No more than 4 Ankegs per party. After that, it's catch and release, alright? Most of the activity starts about 50 yards to the east. Now move out. I'll keep an eye on things from here. So she has this little Ankeg culling mini-quest. We may... Okay. In some versions of the game, you've just sort of been able to, like, immediately talk to her again because you've already killed 4 Ankegs. That's obviously not how it works in this version. No, that's fine. We'll need to restock on sling bullets eventually, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. So that's 2. We're going to go ahead and tag the top of the map. And see if we can find another couple Ankegs. Just finish up our little quota quest, and then we'll be done with this area. And we will go down south and talk to our smith friend in Baragast and have him start working on our armor. It is going to take a while. I could explore. I think normally I'd just explore around a bunch while he was doing that. Under the circumstances, I might instead stock up on healing items and just make a mad dash into the Cloakwood. I'm about the right level for it, but I'm a little under-equipped at the moment in terms of like consumables. In particular in terms of things like potions of healing and potions of antidote. So I will probably want to stop by someplace before I do that. Also, if I can eke out 1 more point of reputation somewhere, that would be helpful. Just because we have a 19 reputation and 20 is the cap, and the shop discount really goes up at 20. So if we can get our reputation to 20, fantastic. If we can't, it's not the end of the world. We'll certainly be able to later on. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. Not a lot of Ankegs showing up at the moment. That is inconvenient. I would really like to complete this little micro quest, but if it's turning out to be a little less micro, then I may just ignore it, come back later. I would rather not be incredibly boring on stream, so, you know. We'll see what we can do here. I don't suppose... Oh, okay, so since we've killed some Ankegs, we actually have triggered the quest, even though we only killed 2 after talking to her. I think because we've killed any after talking to her and have killed at least 4 total. So she's just going to trust that we've only killed 4, which is not true, and pay us 75 entire gold pieces. That's pretty embarrassing for fighting, honestly, a fairly dangerous early game enemy type. I mean, we've only been hit by 1 Ankeg this entire time, but it did do a ton of damage, so, you know. Let's see, we could go straight to Cloakwood, but again, we're instead going to go down to Baragast and get our smith friend working on the armor.
Indeed.
It's just more important. And I hope that I can get to him before his shop closes. I guess it's only like 6 in the evening in this game. We should probably be fine. We can also check and see if he has anything to say about the mysterious liquid that we gave him. He has special dialogue when you talk to him while carrying the Ankeg shell. So I'm actually just going to drop it on the ground and talk to him, just to make sure that that doesn't override anything.
I can make whatever you wish for.
Ah, Envale. There you are. We found a way to counteract the contaminant, and I've tested it out on my stock. Once we're certain it works, I'll send our results down to Noshko, but in the meantime, go ahead and take a look at what I've got. I think you'll find it's a bit better than it was before. So, this guy now has... Where is it? He has some new stuff. In particular, yeah, he's got these quality weapons, which are not any better than the normal weapons. They just, but they don't break. However, unfortunately, that comes a little bit late because we've got magical weapons, which also don't break. We could also buy some good stuff from him. He does sell full plate. I'd really rather make some Ankeg plate. We have no interest in the Shadow Armor. Army Scythe and Dagger of Venom could both be good, but they're both quite expensive. And we're not going to be able to use either of them yet, so I think I'm going to leave them both on the table.
I can make whatever you wish for a wheel.
An interesting piece of material you got there. Ankeg, if I'm not mistaken. Been a while since I've seen the like, but if I remember correctly, it makes a fine set of armor. Properly treated, it's comparable to full plate with half the weight. If you're willing to part with your shells, I'll give you 500 gold for the lot of them. No more can I offer with business as slow as it is. Iron shortage hurting us all. I'm not interested in selling it just now, though it would be to you if I do. A shame it is. I could bring quite a bit. It could bring quite a bit once finished. How about this? For 4,000 gold, I'll make it into plate for you instead. It's half my normal rate for working on an exotic, but as I mentioned, business is slow. I'm afraid that's more than I can afford right now. Okay, now. Can't remember if you can bargain this down. I'm going to try this. 4,000 gold is ridiculous. It'd be cheaper to make it from the gold itself. Okay, yeah, no. We just got to pay him 4,000 apparently.
A wee little bit more than me competition.
Wait. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Shit. Let's load a quick save. Picked the wrong dialogue option. Do not want to have to go get another suit. So there's actually, most of the Ankegs in the game are on that farm, but there's a couple in a wilderness area down south. And if I was playing this game the way I normally do, I would have already found that. But I'm not, and so I probably would actually already have done this by now. But sadly, you know, I'm doing a little more of a straight shot, a little bit less exploration this time, even off screen. So yeah, okay, he says come back in 3 days, and very well, we'll come back. So it is day 16 now, so we'll come back on day 19 or 20 or later. Probably a lot later if we end up going to the Cloakwood. Let's see. I feel like
This group needs not quite as much help.
we have something in here like this. I want to say there's some family in here that some family that we can return one of those, like that amulet to or something, and get a point of reputation. I don't really remember. It's not super important. We are going to talk to Officer Vi and sell her our entire collection of bandit scalps for like 1,000 gold. She is, a respectable amount. It's not
Indeed.
untold wealth or anything like that. But yeah, just gonna poke into a couple houses here. See if I'm correct that one of these is the place.
If you insist.
Nope,
If you insist.
not that one. I think this is this Firebeat's place? It is.
Yeah, fine.
Butler, are you?
Get out of me way, you crummy log.
Mr. Colquette will be most disappointed. I think that's
You're a long
the one?
tongued lout, ain't you?
Please, no visitors today. I am quite unwell with grief over my missing son. I told the fool not to travel in such times, especially with wife and child in tow, but he would not listen. Now I have no idea where he... Wait, where did you get that amulet? It was certainly a piteous sight. A young family cut down in a cowardly raid. This was among their meager belongings. It was my son's. Please, might I have it? Of course. I'm sorry we couldn't have stopped it. Thank you. Funny, isn't it, how a simple piece of cut glass takes on so much more worth? Please, leave me. And there we go. Since we didn't try to extort money from him, we get a point of reputation,
This group needs not quite as
which
much
means we're at 20. And we can actually, if we want, stop back in at the smithy and see what kind of discount that nets us. The dagger of venom was costing us about 10,000 before with our 19 reputation discount. It's not going to be like half that much, but it should be, I don't know, a couple thousand less maybe? Let's find out.
I can make whatever you wish for a wee little bit more than me competition.
Yeah, okay, maybe 1,000 less. Not that much less, but yeah, it's helpful.
If you insist.
Obviously, the 19 reputation already gives you a pretty steep discount, which is why the jump wasn't that big, but still helps us afford some of those big ticket items, which typically is something that I try to do after, I try to really buy a lot of the big ticket items after I go to the Cloakwood. I generally find that's when I really just have enough money to afford basically whatever I want. I could pop over and see if I can afford one of them now,
Don't touch me.
which could be nice. I think I'm just going to buy some potions. In fact, actually, we could make this even cheaper if we have Emmeline talk to him, because she also gets a charisma discount. Oh, nope, apparently not. Usually that works out, but oh well. So we're just going to spend a couple thousand gold on kind of a bunch of stuff here. Some potions of antidote and a bunch of potions of healing. We do not need a stack of 20 of these. I just want to make sure that I have plenty of healing potions for really for everyone, actually. Like, I've been giving them to the frontliners, but it's not like I don't want them on the backliners too. I really would like everyone to have a good number of healing potions, because damage, damage can happen to anyone. It's just sort of the nature of things. We don't really need that oil of fiery burning, or at least we certainly don't need it on Dynahair anymore, because she has that that item, the Wand of Fire. Okay. All right. Now I think we will run off to the Cloakwood, which is the next sort of major plot area. The Cloakwood is a whole bunch of wilderness areas that are sort of strung together. So we're going to have a little bit of a time in there. Wait, do I want to restock on anything? Nah, I think I'll be fine. Sort of a bunch of areas, wilderness areas strung together. You basically have to go from one to the next in a sequence. Although you can have a little bit of fun by you know, tagging the side of the edge. You don't have to like completely explore the area. There's definitely stuff to do along the way, but it is mostly wilderness areas. There's also a lot of enemies with like poison and special effects like that. You may also remember that way back when we first went to Baragast, there was a guy who asked us to retrieve a cloak that he lost in Cloakwood.
What you want?
Yes.
There it is. It's right there. Just inside Cloakwood, but Cloakwood doesn't unlock until you've finished the bandit camp, so, you know, we couldn't actually have done that quest earlier. I'm not going to bother identifying that. That's not a particularly useful item most of the time. It's a Cloak of Non-Detection. It's supposed to protect you from divination spells. It's really inconsistent into how it works. And yeah, you can see we could actually already go to the next area just from tagging the bottom for some reason. I'm not quite going to do that. There's a little bit of interesting stuff in this wilderness area. In theory, there's a little bit of interesting stuff in here. Let's see, where are they? Okay, the Tasseli. Oh, spiders. That's not good. There's a lot of spiders in Cloakwood. A lot of poison-using enemies in general, which is why I bought a bunch of potions of antidote. Cloakwood is actually one of the more dangerous places in the game because poison in this game can be pretty vicious. Obviously these spiders, not too bad. Though, you know, I was definitely trying to make sure they didn't make contact with Emlyn there. But some of the things in here will inflict a poison that does something on the order of like 5 damage per second. Not like per round, but per second. And that's, you know, a little strong. Just a tad slightly mildly strong. We don't want to take 5 damage per second. So we will be doing our best to heal any poisons we get very quickly. The potions of antidote are one of the better ways to do that. We also have slow poison spells in various forms on like 3 different characters. So we do have some ways to deal with that, but we will have to. I think it's very likely that we will get poisoned once or twice as we go through the Cloakwood. Dreadwolf. Dreadwolves are sort of a mid-tier enemy. They're worth decent XP though. I think it's like 600 or, yeah, 650. So that's decent. They're not super strong. Oh look, Emlyn's up a level again. So remember how we were saying the Thief XP would start to matter less and less? Well, she's now the same level as Dynahair. Now that's not going to last that long, but yeah. So, you know, 5 Thief levels. I mean, they're not doing anything right now except giving her a little bit of extra health. But yeah, that's sort of exciting. Okay. Oh, I should probably actually be on Emmeline's sheet if I want to do this. I'm going to take Spook. Emmeline, I guess, is sort of shaping up to be our Fear Mage. Spook is like a single target fear effect. It's good basically just because it has one of the few spells in this game that becomes harder to save against as the spell's level increases. So as the caster's level increases, rather.
You there! Identify yourselves!
So we find this random person sort of outside like a hunting lodge or something out here. What purpose have you wandering this far into Cloakwood? Are you looking to earn some money? If you are, I would be willing to pay a considerable amount for your assistance. I'm Aldeth Sachenstar, a noble from the city of Baldur's Gate. Perhaps you've heard of me. No matter, I am looking for some good, strong people who could defend me against a band of savages. These ruffians have been threatening my companions and me with bodily harm. Would you be interested? Sure. Good. I'm glad you had the sense of decency to help a man in my situation. Let me explain my predicament. My friends and I come here every year to do some sport hunting. This year, however, a group of woodland savages threatened us with bodily harm if we did not stop our hunting trip. Being civilized men, we realize that it's well within our rights to hunt where we damn well please. After a few more days of hunting, the crass woodmen lost all pretense of humanity and murdered Elban, one of my oldest friends. I'm sure that they plan to attack our cottage here, so we had best be prepared. I love how it keeps putting Dynahair in the front. That's super cool.
I have no quarrel with those who respect my forest.
Seniad. Trespassers and butchers of our wood, I, Seniad, have come to administer the punishment that you have brought down upon yourselves. Yet, who are the ones that stand beside you? With them we have no quarrel. It is with you that I speak. These men have most likely duped you into protecting their sorry hides. They have most likely not told you of the druid that they have slain in cold blood. I will allow you to rethink your earlier decision and leave these men to their most deserved fate. Do not listen to these slavering wild men, my dear friends. They lie as befits the uncultured barbarians that they are. Seniad, it is good to see you once more. Jahara, you are welcome among us. Trees have missed your gentle care. Will you aid us against these barbaric interlopers? I could do no less. Envale? Yeah, okay. Sorry, Eldaf, but we're siding with the druids. They have this great aloe vera balm they're giving away free samples of, and my arm has been chafing a bit, you know? What? Have you gone mad, throwing your lot in with a band of madmen? You treacherous savages, you will suffer for your foolishness. I will deal with Seniad after I kill you. I generally think siding with Seniad seems to be the correct thing here for a few reasons, like morally, but if you side with Aldeth here, he does actually show up later and helps out very mildly in the late game, so there's arguments either way. He's not going to do so hot, though, I'm afraid. So he's running away. I mean, that's probably actually really smart, but yeah. He drops a diamond and a potion of heroism, a bunch of gold, and a very good bastard sword. This is, well, okay, it's +1. It's +3 versus shapeshifters, of which there are a few in the game. It's also, there's a particular obnoxious, like, bonus boss in the game. There's a couple of bonus bosses. One of them can only be hurt by, like, 4 weapons in the entire game. Or spells and stuff. And that is one of the weapons that can hurt him. So that's obnoxious, but, you know, we're glad to have it. And hey, Seniad, what's up? Oh, he's just giving us that, that dialogue. Okay, whatever. Like, sure. And these guys are really, you know, upset. But, look, man, like, you murdered a druid, and Jahara trusts Seniad's account, so I'm inclined to do the same. I don't know, I mean, there's an argument for... It sounds like both sides killed each other, but, you know, the people who are basically poachers, I'm not siding with them. I'm sorry, it's not happening. not on a... I mean, we're a lawful neutral playthrough, but I don't think we're like, you know, the forces of civilization and order over everything else playthrough. I don't think we're that kind of lawful.
Nature's servant awaits.
We're more, you know, punishing the wicked, that sort of thing. And if this guy's tromped in here randomly, you know, killed animals that he has no right to hunt, just for sport, no less. Oh, that was fun. That is a thing that happens occasionally in this game when it is raining, is that you will get randomly struck by lightning. That's not good. Not good at all. As you can see, it does a lot of damage. I believe it does... I guess it doesn't show up in the thing. I believe it does like half the target's max health and damage. Gonna just guzzle a healing potion real quick. So that's pretty painful. So yeah, the weather does actually have mechanical effects in this game, sort of. You're not... That's the only one. Yeah, for a while there was sort of a huge... I remember there was a debate in the community over whether, like, weather did anything. You can actually turn weather off in the options. And it turns off not only the visual effects, but, you know, the ability to get randomly hit by lightning. There was a big debate in the community over whether being hit by lightning was real, or whether people were just, you know, not understanding when a druid cast call lightning or something like that. But no, it's definitely real. You just saw it. I've seen it before. I ended up posting screenshots to prove it, which were a little hard to get, by the way. It's not that easy to get screenshots of being struck by lightning because the animation doesn't last very long. This is Corin. He's another party member we can recruit. We're not going to because we have the party we want. But Corin is really strong. He's a fighter thief. He is like... He has more points in his longbow proficiency that he's like legally allowed to have as a fighter thief. And is, because of that and a few other reasons, the best archer in the game. Like, he's actually a better archer than our main character is. He's just ridiculously good. You can make a player character who's a better archer than he is, but like, you have to work at it. He's incredible. He's also basically like an elven version of Johnny Bravo, which is just funny. So I enjoy him. He finds a place in a lot of my parties, but not this one, because he's not in the canon party. And then we're going to go to the next Cloakwood area. This is the spider area. There's a lot of spiders here, even by Cloakwood standards.
Excuse me. Please let me speak before you attack.
Hello, travelers. I'm Tiber. Could I take up some of your time? I'd be very grateful if you would just listen to... If you would just help me. What troubles you? Thank you. It's my brother, you see. He and I went into the Cloakwood to clear the woods of the spider colony that infests it. Now it sounds foolish, but my brother had found the sword Spider's Bane. The sword was created to kill spiders, and we thought we could become famous, the heroes of Cloakwood and all that. But my brother hasn't returned yet, and it's been more than a week. Please, could you go into the woods and find him for me? My mother would be so shattered if Chelak were to be dead. We'll find your brother for you, don't worry. Oh yes, please search quickly. His name is Chelak, be careful. So, I mean, this is a little reminiscent of the quest we just did. We know how that one ended. So obviously, yeah, so there are a bunch of spiders here. As one might expect, there's a bunch of web traps. If we step on that, we're going to have a bad time. The spiders are immune to web spells, by the way. Which is, you know, pretty sensible, but annoying. Spiders, of course, in real life are not really immune to webs. They're just good at crossing them. spider webs, if memory serves, the way that actually works in the actual real world is that there are... Wait a minute. Why did you just start attacking automatically? Huh. The way that works in the real world is that there are like certain strands that aren't sticky, and the spiders, when they're on their own webs at least, know which strands those are, and they just walk on those. They're not like weirdly like somehow immune to being stuck or something. D&D and video games really like animals being like, or creatures being sort of immune to the stuff they use. In real life, I feel like it's more often more complicated than that, right? Like, there aren't that many things that you can just randomly be immune to in real life. Even like, venomous creatures are not like immune to poison, stuff like that. That's not particularly relevant to the game. Oh look, some stuff. We got a scimitar and we got a ring. Now that ring is horribly cursed. We're not going to do it. Also, it seems like someone died there. I don't know if the implication is supposed to be that they jumped off or what. Oh, and an editor cap. Ah, boy, that's not good. This is very tight quarters. I do not want that guy to get an attack on me. Editor caps are slow moving, but they are one of the things with that 5 hit point per second poison. They're like weird, like spider humanoids. In this game, they're just sort of weirdly bloated and not very interesting looking. Again, worth decent XP. They're not very dangerous except for that poison. But when you have a 5 hit point per second poison, how many more ways do you need to be dangerous? So, we are, by the way, at this point relying entirely on our main character for trap removal. And his find traps is getting to the point where that's comfortable. It might be a little low, actually, for some of the traps in at the end of this place, and I don't know if I'm going to level up before I get there or not. So that might be a little exciting if we have to do it. If we have to just deal with some traps that we can't disarm or something. I'm not totally sure, we might just be able to brute force it. Or we might just, if we get another level, we'll be fine, basically. Oh, sword spider. Sword spiders are very fast, and they attack very fast. They are not poisonous, I do not believe. Oh boy, okay. But they attack very fast, as you can see.
What is it?
And now I can't use my shield ammo anymore, or it will be destroyed. If you use the last charge for magic item, it just sort of disintegrates, and we don't want that because then, we'll we won't be able to sell the item to recharge it. We'd really rather that did not happen. We really want to find, not have that problem. So I was hoping to keep that charge in reserve, or really what I should have done is sell and rebuy it. Here we go. Here's what we were looking for. So this is the sort of spider nest that we were told about. Let's go inside and see what happens. We can keep our characters from getting stuck. We meet this Centail. Kill the meat, my pets. Hey, wait, we've come here to benefit from your divine wisdom. Let us speak. You've come here to learn from my infinite wisdom. Speak quickly. How have you come to dwell here in this dreary abode? I am cursed. The Archmage John Irenicus cursed me for indignities done to him and his wife by me. I loved John, but now I hate him, as I hate you and everything. Spiders, kill them all. So, Irenicus, he's the main villain of Baldur's Gate 2. We'll meet him later. A lot later. So we got another sword spider, we got the actual boss, and she's sort of spawning a whole bunch of spiders. So I think it's time for our first fireball.
Yep.
I'm also going to drop a fear spell. I actually don't know for sure that that even works on these guys, but we're going to give it a shot.
Full plate and packing steel.
Oh, it worked on the boss, so that's good. Do we have... Let's just blast out a sleep wand. I should not have kept 2 protection from petrifications memorized. Keeping 1 memorized is fine, but we do not need to. Oh, dearie me. Okay. That's not good. Khalid, backpedal, please. Okay, that's super not good. Try to spook this sword spider, please. Yeah, about that. Thank you for doing that, Emily. That was very helpful. Okay. Now, spook is not a long duration spell, to be clear.
Yes. Very well.
Shit.
Yep. My blade will cut you down to size.
As you can see, the sword spiders are fairly nasty. We did beat the main lady, who is worth a solid 1000 XP. The really nasty thing she does, you know, is spawn a bunch of friends. Oh, that's not good. Wow, this sword spider is just wrecking me. Let's do this real quick, please. Okay, you know what?
This would be a good place for a hint.
Yeah, we're taking some poison damage. Oh, nope, don't quit.
Nature's servant awaits.
Ah, hello.
Yes.
Oh, that's not good. That looks like it needs a fireball. As we are not in what I would describe as the world's greatest shape at this particular moment.
You're a queer fellow.
Do you want something? An autograph, perhaps?
Can I help?
Nature's servant awaits.
What you want?
Here indeed.
Hi, Bunch.
Okay. No. I'm going to click on Emmeline. You click on her portrait instead. Both of you blast out magic missile wands, please. Really cannot afford to have this. You know what? Anyway, I'll drink a potion. And then since we've got that armor anyway, we can turn around and kill it. Okay. So we can see the those guys actually were... The sword spiders were actually a lot of XP and a lot of the challenge of this fight.
With rest.
Thankfully, with guzzling a few potions and
Our slave driver.
you know, a few wand charges, we were in fact able to prevail. A little hairier than I was expecting. And of course, to no one's great surprise, Chalek's body. So, yeah, that's, again, very unfortunate, and again, you know, it is what it is. Not really anything we can do about that. We are going to go ahead and identify a couple of these. Go ahead and use the scroll on this one. This is Spider's Bane. It's a +2 greatsword that also makes you immune to, like, web spells and stuff. It's actually a pretty good weapon. I'm also going to go ahead and identify this Wand of Frost. Wands of Frost are not my favorite, but they exist. It's about all I really have to say about them, to be honest with you. I never find them to be as good in practice as they look like they will be on paper. I guess that's really what I should say. Okay, and then Dynahair, you can level up. She's now level 5. Let's see. Okay, so she can now identify some of these arrows, which is very nice, without having to spend any resources. So let's see, what do we have here? We have 2 fire arrows. We already had some fire arrows. They're just +2 arrows that the target has to make a save or take a d6 of extra fire damage, which is fine. Acid arrows are +1 and do 2d6 extra acid damage. These are just incredible. They're ridiculously good, but only one of them is not. And then arrows of ice, which are just +1d6 cold damage, which is fine. Okay.
Fine.
Okay, so we're in bad shape and we're fatigued. We have also, finished that quest. So I am probably going to go turn that into the brother and then rest. And then that will be the end of the stream for today. This is about where I wanted to wrap up. Oh, my Ettercap is scary, but I should hopefully be able to beat it before anything too untoward happens. Hopefully. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, we're obviously very beat up. We're a little rough, but we'll push through. We're getting some more levels. Emmeline is working towards level 5, and then eventually she'll work towards level 6, which is when she'll get her thief skills back, which will be nice, but it will make her like a better archer and stuff. We don't really need her as a thief because of our main character. So that's one of the reasons why I was willing to dual class her. You want to make sure you have a thief with, for whom that's an active class. Often I use Corrin, but right now, we have our main character instead.
Please let me speak before you attack.
Chelak. Oh, Chelak, how will I ever tell my mother? Oh, so stupid. I should have stopped this stupid idea. Such a waste. You can keep the damn sword. It's been more of a curse than anything else. I thank you for bringing my brother's body. There was little you could have done. And that's unfortunately true. We get enough XP for Jaheira to level up. Only in Druid, but that's fine, because she'll get some more hit points, and she'll get some more spells. Which is very handy, because we could really use some. Unfortunately, there's no second level healing spell. I mean, technically good berry, but good lord, this spell is bad. So I'm actually going to take Find Traps. That spell is occasionally useful. Okay, now, 3rd level spells. We start to get some actually good stuff. Dispel Magic is occasionally useful. Cure Medium Wounds is the next healing spell. It's not really that good, but it's something. And Call Lightning is actually a very powerful spell, but it can only be cast outside. So I think we'll take a Call Lightning and a Cure Medium. And that will have to do us. Then we're going to go ahead and take a rest. Alrighty. And I think with that is going to be it for today. So we cleared the bandit camp, we got into Cloakwood, got into the second area. Most of the rest of Cloakwood isn't that interesting, so I will, until we get to the dungeon at the end. So probably what I will do before the next stream is I will go through most of it. There's a little bit before the dungeon that's interesting. We'll do that, and then we'll get to the dungeon and do the dungeon. And that'll be next stream. So take care, y'all. Thanks for watching, and I hope you had a good time.